It's about that time again where we begin looking at altcoins to buy for the next leg up, or hopefully to make millions of dollars. That's the plan with myself anyway. So here are some of the top altcoins I am currently looking to buy and already own to turn this bull run into something that will change my life. Now, you don't have to follow these picks, of course. You don't have to look at any of these. I'm not here to convince you to buy them. I'm just giving you what I'm personally buying and holding, but this video is going to be a bit of a twist. I'm not going to give you altcoins that I think are good buys right now. I'm actually going to give you ones that I think are going to do well based on their narratives, okay? So areas in which we'll likely see the most amount of money flow into crypto for this bull run particularly. So all I ask is if you do find yourself enjoying the video and you want to thank me for all the work that goes into it, hit the like button at any point in the video, but while you're down there, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well, guys, because I will help you achieve all your crypto goals this bull run. Now, if you want price predictions from the current prices on all of these altcoins, then I will direct you to the video I'll leave down below. But either way, go to my channel and look at this video here, 50 plus altcoin predictions for the 2024 crypto bull run. I made this about a day or two ago from the uploading of this video. That will give you a pretty much rundown on every single coin I mentioned in this video. Again, I've got give or take about 8 to 10 of them today. And again, we're kind of trying to focus down on the narratives, so to speak, rather than specifically the altcoins themselves. Now, they're all good. Again, that's why I'm buying them. I put my money where my mouth is. But again, we want to buy the areas that will see the most amount of money. And it's important because all narratives or niches in crypto tend to launch, pop off, grow at the same time, like I can see here with oracles. For example, again, IoT, layer one projects, gaming, they all happen at different times, and you can literally miss out on a matter of months, really, from the difference between the different narratives, okay? So, for example, DeFi had their all-time highs over here, and it was like 5 to 6 months later, gaming had their all-time highs. They all pop off at different times, which is why it's very important you understand this and understand fundamentals. This strategy I've learned over 10,000 hours being in this industry and taught you guys on many different videos. If you can understand this, you will very simply understand what makes a project a possible good buy, right? Get rid of metrics, get rid of all the on-chain BS data. That's great for retrospect, but that's not great in the moment trying to figure out what coins do well. This is a prime example, okay? We can look at Mina, all right? Mina was a project that popped off. This isn't on the list, by the way, actually. I do think Mina will do great. I do own Mina, but it's just to give you an example. So Mina actually went up around almost just 3x back at the start of the year in late October. Why? Because it had a really good announcement. It had a really good listing and it popped off. This is called the popularity. This is the popularity popping off, okay? Now, narrative works a bit differently. Narrative is like Fetch over here, where Fetch pumped up recently at the start of this year, almost a 7x. This is a narrative pump, okay? It's different, and I know it's a narrative pump because AOS, another obviously AI project, had a refresh for the website that happened way back in November, December of last year, and that went up about a 18x almost. But then a few months later, it went up as well with Fetch in the AI pump as well, okay? So it went up about almost 7x, basically. Now, this is what I'm sort of saying here, guys. You have many different types of so-called pumps. You have many different situations where these projects will do well, which is why I've picked them and why I've purchased them, because they aren't just in great narratives that will create, as we just saw, 5, 10, 15, 20 plus X on those narrative pumps, but are likely to have some pretty good roadmap events or announcements that will give it an extra push when the time does come. So you can have all this taken care of for you. Of course, first link down below, you'll have access to the private community. In the private community of the Bullrun cheat sheet, one of the features of the Bullrun cheat sheet, as you can see here, is the narrative ranking sheet. This will tell you what areas of crypto will do well. Again, I'm focusing on the 9s and 10s for this video. So what's the number one? What's the first coin we're looking at here? Well, first of all, the area we're going to be focusing on is interoperability. Okay, this is connecting the different blockchains together. Right now, crypto is siloed. You have different networks all over the place, and they have a hard time connecting. So if we can find projects connecting cryptos, that's going to be great, because that is what's preventing the ecosystem, one of the reasons anyway, from really finding mass adoption. Now, one of these coins is Axelar. Axelar, I think, is a fantastic opportunity right now to get into, because we aren't too far off the recent lows at about 50 cents or so. And before that, it was way back in Q4 of last year, we had these prices, okay? Now, we're up a bit, 76 cents right now. So comparable to the starts of this year, late last year. But I still think from where it recently went to and where it will go, massive discounts. That's like, what, a 3 or 4x from the recent highs. They are also very well connected and respected, not just in crypto, but the real world as well. This is a recent white paper. They had insights from some of the largest institutions around the world: Citibank, Deutsche Bank, MasterCard, Northern Trust, and of course another crypto project over here, Centrifuge, talking about tokenization, talking about connecting different networks together and how the tokenization market basically is going to find problems, because while tokenization is great, if you can't use tokenized assets across chains, that becomes a very big issue. Axelar actually looks to fix this and solve this. They have a very recent upgrade, a new product, if you will, that allows a single click connection between different networks, which then prevents fragmentation of liquidity, which is a very big issue in crypto. It's solving a massive problem. Now, not an amazing amount of transactions, 2.2 million, but they haven't been around for that long, all right? Almost $10 billion in volume. That is impressive, actually, at an average of $4,000 per transaction at that ratio, okay? So heavily connected, over 60 different blockchains hooked up here, 66 to be exact. And overall, the vesting, in my opinion, isn't too much to be concerned with. There are going to be some VCs having their tokens unlocked, but I don't think that we'll have massive issues. If you are being conservative with your price predictions here, I think anywhere from a 10 to a 20x is very realistic for Axelar. Now, another coin in this interoperability space, right, this is focusing on solving crypto-specific problems, is, of course, Wormhole. I own Wormhole. It's one of my highest holding projects, full disclosure. Now, Wormhole, I think, is a fantastic steal right now. And the reason why I think it's a fantastic steal, because, well, first of all, the price is very, very low, but people assume that Wormhole's got this massive unlocks to still occur, and oh my God, it's going to be a massive token dilution to happen, and look at the FDV. The FDV is so high compared to the market cap, blah, 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 blah. It's complete nonsense, guys. If you actually have a look into it, the tokens that are being unlocked, worst case, December of 2025, we're pretty much moving from where we are right now, give or take about 1.8, 1.9 billion tokens, to about just under 5 billion tokens. Okay, so it sounds bad, but a lot of the tokens are going towards ecosystem funds, and they aren't going to investor rounds particularly. That comes later on, so I don't think we'll have a massive dump in the price of the token. Now, this has some pretty insane stats. There's a total of $43 billion transferred just through the portal app. That's one of the apps built on Wormhole interchain, so it's built in the middle basically of all the new networks hooked up to Wormhole. This pretty much is the main in and out of the Solana ecosystem. So anything hooking out of the Solana ecosystem or hooking into it pretty much has to pass through Wormhole. Not exclusively, but of course, it's one of the main features of it. And this, just like Axelar, helps prevent this stuff from happening here. What they're calling rehypothecated, I think that's how you pronounce it, assets, basically, where you take a Bitcoin or Ethereum and you wrap it on a new chain. It's wrapped. It's not really Ethereum. It's a whole new token. You can see here, right? We can see wrapped ETH has a market cap of $11 billion. But wouldn't it be easier if that wrapped ETH was just ETH? Yes, more liquidity, right? Less problems with having to create wrapped ETH with all the new different assets rather than just creating an ETH with that asset. So this is what it's trying to solve here, not just, of course, Wormhole, but Axelar, as I mentioned before. And this is kind of their sort of solution to that native token transfers, like NTT, with all these features. I could be here all day talking about Wormhole. In my opinion, one of the best interoperability plays out there. And in the recent market crash, it's come down to a very similar market cap to Axelar. So I think great purchase, not financial advice. Next up, let's talk about AI. Now, I'm not going to spend too much time on this because it's very obvious. AI is going to do really well. I think a lot of this is based on NVIDIA. So have a look at NVIDIA. Basically, finding the altcoins that react well when NVIDIA has some bullish news is great. The stock market in general, I believe, is down a little bit right now, hence, of course, why NVIDIA is also down. But we can have a look at the earnings, right? The quarterly earnings. And of course, we are continuously gaining and gaining and gaining. So hopefully the next one comes out quite well after this slump in the, basically stock market. Also, the NvidiaGTC conferences is a great time where usually the AI altcoins do quite well. Render and Near Protocol have been mentioned in the recent NvidiaGTC. That actually pumped the price of those tokens up at that time. And of course, if we are still in a bull run in the next GTC conference, that will be quite a good thing as well. This very much reminds me of the .com boom in the stock market, but I do feel like while this will boom AI in the real markets, when I say real markets, crypto is a real market, I know, crucify me, the traditional markets and also crypto, I think that it won't have as large of a slump because AI is much more usable straight away. It's got much more impact than just websites being created and all that fun stuff. So my picks here are, of course, going to be number one, Render. Render is a no-brainer pick in my personal opinion. I think now is a steal for a price. I think this coin can definitely 10 to 15x. Again, make sure you watch that price prediction video if you want the exact numbers on it. Either way, these guys have been mentioned in the Apple keynote recently, and I believe they will in the future. Octane X was mentioned, and of course, Octane X, one of Atoy, the parent company of the Render network, leverages the Render network, okay, to actually run this stuff in a decentralized way, or at least should I say distributed way. Now, Grayscale also has added Render to one of their new funds as well, the Decentralized AI Fund. So, of course, no brainer, but it is good to see it in that list as well. And what I'll finalize up here on Render is, again, I like to bring this up. It's deflationary, guys. The more people that begin using this, the more network effects that are created, the stronger this will grow. And if you actually have a look at this flywheel, which I've illustrated here many times, it's completely decentralized. It actually taps into a liquidity pool to ensure that it's completely run crypto specifically, okay? Basically, when the Render is used, it is swapped. You can use it, USD, paying USD, swaps to Render. Render is then burnt, and then you create this new Render, and then it's sent back to the person. The person then actually gets some free Render tokens to continue using this flywheel. I mean, it's a really, really great architecture in my personal opinion. And with the recent merge or swap from the RNDR token into RNDR, the new Render token, it's going to be great in my personal opinion. Now, the next AI coin is, shocker, ASI. It is a 3.7 billion market cap, so one of the high guys, but I do think this one has the characteristics to go still from here a 15 to a 20x. That's what I'm thinking. Again, not financial advice. Have to make sure I stipulate that every bloody time. Either way, guys, have a look at the supply, right? It's almost all out. When they did the merge between SingularityNet and Ocean Protocol into the Fetch AI project, which then created ASI, all those tokens that were put into this already had owners. It was already people like you and I, retail, holding those tokens, and also, other investors as well, like institutions. But again, that went directly into the hands of the people. It wasn't sold on the open market. There was no weird stuff happening there. So in my opinion, this is fantastic, right? We do have a lot of, well, now ASI, but still technically FET token holders, okay? This sort of coalition. So the only issue I have with this project is, again, they have 3 different websites. So it's not a combined ASI website yet. There is an ASI website, but they are 3 independent AI companies working together, but again, they're still separate. So there's arguments to be made. I think for this bull run, the fundamentals are still enough in this market to make this do well. If we were a more mature market that focused on metrics, that focused on all the black and white balance sheet stuff, then yeah, there could be arguments to be made that that isn't a good thing, but I think people will still get behind this project considering this is one of the reasons, right? A $100 million infrastructure investment to pretty much go ahead and buy NVIDIA's latest GPUs or chips to power large language models, to power a decentralized infrastructure for AI agents. And now this partnership between Singularity as well and Ocean is going to bring more features on board as well. And there's a whole bunch of stuff to really discuss in this case. I think ASI, artificial superintelligence, being the final pretty much evolution of what an AI model will really be over AGI, for example, artificial general intelligence. If this is actually created and their whole idea of this is to make that power accessible to everyone, right? A decentralized ASI model, it's going to be insane. Even if they don't take off just yet, if they create AGI, right, that's going to be a big thing in my opinion. So as long as they nail this down, this could be even a longer term position as well. Now, one of the biggest areas of crypto that will do well this bull run and also in 2030, so longer term holds, is of course real world assets. Now, I hold 2 RWA tokens in my portfolio, and I will continue to buy these 2 altcoins for as long as I possibly can. One's a larger market cap, one's a smaller one. You may already know what I'm talking about here. First of all, it's Ono Finance. These guys are working with BlackRock, with Securitize. They actually kind of are hand in hand at this point, BNY Mellon and PwC, to bring us a sort of retail product from the Builder fund from BlackRock. Okay, so that's one of their features. OUSG, they also have USDY as well, both pretty much building off very similar stable things. US Treasuries, US dollar note yields. And the benefit of this, of course, is that we can have traditional, stable, and safe investment types in crypto, tokenizing the most, again, safe form of asset you can possibly have, right? The US Treasuries themselves. So yeah, this is quite a good thing, of course, as you guys already know. It provides an additional use case for cryptocurrency, which their recent partnership with a project called Pith Network will allow many more people and projects to access that particular investment fund, right? These two products. So big stuff there. Now, again, Ondo is one of those low float, high supply projects people are complaining about. I don't think it's a big issue. Again, we'll probably end up selling over here somewhere. And if you can have a look at pretty much flat lines from January, so no big unlocks from January. And the unlocks in January have the smallest slither towards the private sales. Out of all this, the darkest area up here is private sales. So I don't think we'll see a massive dump in the market, maybe on this day, but as the market stabilizes and we get more mature into the bull run, I think we're going to be absolutely fine. So I'm not even concerned in the slightest. I think Ondo's got some good multiples ahead of it, 10x, maybe even more. Probably more, actually. And a smaller asset here is Goldfinch, 230 mil market cap, not to be confused with CoinMarketCap. CoinMarketCap says about 100 mil. That's wrong. Use CoinGecko when looking at Goldfinch, okay? Now, you can see here it's bounced up quite a bit from its somewhat recent lows of $2.16-ish. Now we're at $3, so it sucks if you didn't manage to get in a bit earlier, but I think respective to where we're going to go, I think $60+, honestly, it's still pretty damn good, right? It's a 20x. Again, this is my personal opinion, not financial advice. So if you have a look into Goldfinch, you begin asking yourself, how is this not like $1 billion market cap project already? Like, how is it not? 7.6% USDC pool. They have a whole bunch, $100 million in active loans. It's insane, right? They're actually generating a lot of money, more than even some large layer one projects. They're legitimately making money as a DApp, okay? It's incredible. Now, there's a lot to talk about this. I will mention the supply. Again, similar to the other projects, it had this low float, high supply, but we're actually over towards the end of this now. So we're almost 100% unlocked invested. So I don't really think there's a massive concern in this case for Goldfinch in the sense of, unlocks basically, right? Now, it is, and what I'll finalize on here, one of the very few projects that were the founders of this new coalition, right? The Tokenized Asset Coalition, or TAC, as they so elegantly call it as well, with the likes of Aave, Centrifuge, Circle, Coinbase, Credix, and RWA XYZ. But they also added in a few more members after that: Ava Labs, Chainlink Labs, Fireblocks, Maple, Ondo, Parafy, Polygon, and a whole bunch more. Securitizers even in there, therefore definitely BlackRock's in there, right? So big stuff, and that's why I love it. It's a small project, high potential. Like, I don't know why more people aren't like, how is Goldfinch so cheap? I think it'll be a matter of time before the market catches on to this, especially for such a powerful narrative of the bull run being, of course, real-world assets. Now, I've got two more narratives, but one project in each narrative. First of all, I can't make a video on top projects I'm buying without talking about one of my highest holdings, and that's Pith. Now, like I mentioned before, these guys recently hooked up with Ondo to allow Ondo to pretty much flourish in the community, right? This is an Oracle play. So this is a kind of compared to Chainlink, but Chainlink has interoperability, tokenization, a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, while Pith enables those sort of projects to flourish, it's mainly an Oracle service. It does it a bit differently. It's a pull-based rather than a push-based. I think I got that around the right way. Either way, it's much more efficient than Chainlink, and it is by far faster and cheaper to use, and it's hooked up to a whole lot more blockchains. Over 70 blockchains have been connected. There's 105 infrastructure providers, so the data providers basically. 550 price feeds available on all the networks. Chainlink can't offer that. And it's got a whole bunch of TVS on most of these projects. It pretty much is the go-to Oracle on Solana with most of the TVS, their total value secured. $8 billion in TVS. It's probably not even a third of what Chainlink's is, but of course, Chainlink has been around since the dinosaurs were roaming the earth. Also, monthly traded volume, 85 billion. This is just the June month as well. So this is still, again, like over a half a month old, and June was a very bearish month. So keep that in the back of your mind. What I love about it, it's pretty much the go-to oracle of projects like Hedera, which you would never really think of because it's a growing ecosystem, okay? So there's a lot of room here, I think, for Pith to grow once these smaller ecosystems begin to turn online. We can see here some of these months began to stall because it was very slow the last couple of months. So overall, again, the one thing I'll mention is the current situation with the low float, high supply. You have to remember, guys, we probably latest sell in about December, so we have another large unlock to happen between now and then. A bit more of the supply is going towards VCs. They're very, very small amount went to VCs this time around. And of course, what happened? Well, the price tanked before, and as we know, it on the day pumped because most of the time it's retail getting scared. Oh, there's a big unlock to happen, and then they sell, and then what happens? It gets eaten up very quickly in this circumstance because the VCs aren't selling, right? The VCs aren't going to sell not this early anyway, and they don't have much tokens to sell anyway. So they would rather hold and wait for a higher price. And last but not least, a micro cap player that might interest some of you degens, and that is XDeFi. Now, these guys are actually looking to rebrand into CTRL, right? CTRL wallet. Now, you'll have a look at how many users these guys already have on the desktop compared to other very prominent alternatives. And you're going to go, how did I not know about this any sooner? Maybe you have heard about it. Maybe you do use the wallet itself. Either way, again, we have a very large roadmap event or popularity coming up here soon, okay? So XDeFi, again, turning into CTRL. If you actually have a look as well at the website, it's pretty clean, guys. So again, for a micro cap, you're looking for the more basic memeability sort of stuff. In this case, you're looking at some of the more face value things like the website. Again, this is what you want in a project at this level. When we talk about the large market cap, multi-billion-dollar projects, that's when you begin looking behind the curtain more. Now, of course, you want to do that for every project, but we're trying to, again, put the goggles on in the eyes of the average crypto investor. Now, if we compare what happened to Polygon, and there's a few other projects we can mention here, when they rebranded their website, again, and the prime example is AOS, like I showed you earlier, basically 16xing in a matter of a month. And Polygon, pretty much, what did it do here? Like 50x or so? When they rebranded their website, rebranded their token, I mean, it is insane. Now, you have to have a whole bunch of things line up to support such a large move, but this, of course, is a positive thing nonetheless. Now, the features of the CTRL project and wallet itself are quite interesting, okay? They're solving issues that need to be solved in crypto. Again, this is what I'm sort of saying here with the projects and the narratives I'm talking about. They have to solve an issue either in crypto alone or crypto and Web 2, or I'd say worst case, at least just Web 2, but this, of course, solves it for crypto specifically here. Things like chain abstraction. Okay, so the problem with chain abstraction is that, of course, every network is siloed. This pretty much creates a somewhat bridge between them, which is, of course, a very big thing. Also, aggregated balances. So basically, CTRL unifies all the balance basically on all these different networks, allowing for a single number to pop up rather than 10 different markets. Of course, a swap and bridge in most wallets. NFT management, of course, a standard in most wallets. And also gas abstraction, so you can actually top up your gas balances from any different token and then use that across any sort of swap. So you're not having to buy a token, send it over, bridge it. It's just a whole mess. That's what we're looking to solve. Now, like I said, these guys have a lot of users already, 200,000 on the Chrome store itself. Compare this with KuCoin, 20,000, a little blip in the ocean, right? Crypto.com, 90,000, okay, less than half, and Coin98, half, 100,000 users. Pretty impressive for likely a wallet you may not have heard of. And if we compare this in terms of market cap sizes to projects like Coin98, again, a key competitor here, Coin98's market cap is about a 10x or so more, or 11x or 12x more. And the hold account is, of course, more as well. But in saying that, again, when you begin looking at some of the fundamentals of the project, again, offering some of the same features plus more, as well as having more active users on the actual wallet itself, there is things to be said, again, about it doing quite well, including when you look at the rebrand, as well as the market cap being quite low. So there's a lot of good things to say, and I think, not financial advice, this coin should do quite well in the bull run. So guys, with that being said, these are some of my top picks and the top narratives I'm currently looking to buy and or hold for the bull run. Mark them down, take notes, and do some research. Take good care. Bye-bye.